have not been doing very well today. My hip is still hurting, but I am getting on here and doing what God has called me to do. So we are persevering today. So we are doing the Bible in a year. It's a 52-week study. And we are currently on week 3. And the study, or the topic for this week is faith. And today we are on October 16th, which is the 16th day of starting this this book, this study. Day 2, Romans 10 through 17. And then we have our weekly reflections to go through. The first one is, what situation in your life right now requires faith? Write down one small step you can take to trust God with it. Number 2, which commitment or decision makes you anxious this week? How can you approach it differently through the lens of faith? And 3, who in your circle needs encouragement? Share a scripture or personal testimony with them this week. Hi, Jean. So glad you could join us. So these questions are in with each week. So we're supposed to be working on those during the week and answering those questions. And this book has a really cool place for a journal. So maybe if you're going through this with me, maybe you should get a journal just to have it handy so that you could follow along a little easier. Write down the questions. Of course, when I'm done with the live video, I actually put it into another shorter video, and I repost it on all the social media places because Facebook deletes live videos after a certain period of time, and you don't want to miss out. So if you're not already, go over and subscribe to the YouTube channel, because then these are all on there. All right, who stole Romans out of my Bible? Probably would help if I put my readers on that are on my head, right? Oh, boy. You know, I'd love to get that laser eye surgery, but for one, it costs a lot of money, and 2, I'm a little terrified to do that. There's Romans. Found it. All right, so Romans 10, verse 17, and I'll read it first in the NIV version. There's nothing worse than being on a live video and you can't get your pages to turn. Haha, there we go. All right, 10, verse 17 in the NIV version says, "And how can anyone preach unless they are sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of those who bring good news." That was number 15. This is another beauty of live television, live media, is that you read the wrong sentence and it doesn't make any sense, because I'm like, what's that got to do with faith? So let's try the NIV version of 17. "Consequently, faith comes from hearing the message, and the message is heard through the word about Christ." And then verse 18 says, "But I ask, did they not hear?" Of course they did. So I'm not sure what he's referring to in this. This is the instance where you need to go back and read the whole chapter. And that's what we do on the morning live, is we read the whole chapter of where the scripture comes, so that we get a whole picture of the whole thing. All right, so for the purposes of this study in the Message Bible, verse 17 is hidden in a whole paragraph. So we're going to read scripture 14 through 17 in the Message Bible. "But how can people call for help if they don't know who to trust? And how can they know who to trust if they haven't heard of the one who can be trusted? And how can they hear if nobody tells them? And how is anyone going to tell them unless someone is sent to do it? That's why Scripture exclaims, 'A sight to take your breath away, grand processions of people telling all the good things of God.' But not everyone is ready for this, ready to see and hear and act. Isaiah asked, 'What will we ask at one time or another? Does anyone care, God? Is anyone listening and believing a word of it?' The point is, before you trust, you have to listen. But unless Christ's word is preached, there's nothing to listen to." Wow, this kind of goes along with, what did we study this morning? See, this is what the Lord does to me. He starts connecting dots. So we were in Psalm 107. Okay, so hold on to that. Talking about, is anybody listening? And there are so many people that are called to preach, There are so many people that are called to share their testimonies and they don't. And so people are not getting what they need from the Lord because they're not hearing. They're not hearing. I just want to look real quick because in Psalm 107 in the Message, it says, "Oh, thank God he's so good. His love never runs out. All of you set free by God, tell the world. Tell how he freed you from oppression, then round you up from all over the place, from the four winds and from the seven seas." So here he's talking back in Psalm 107. He's talking about sharing your testimony. You have to get out there and talk about Christ. You can't keep this marvelous thing to yourself. Go sow seeds. So what he was telling us this morning is the same thing he's telling us tonight. That God is in the details, and he is wanting us to increase our faith, to go and share the good news, because if nobody hears the good news, they're not going to know who Jesus is. They're not going to know who to trust. Wow, I love that he connected those two scriptures for us this evening. So I'll be back on here tomorrow morning for our morning live, but I'll be back on here tomorrow night. It will be late tomorrow night because I'm going out with my daughter. So, but I will be here. And tomorrow we'll be on day 3, and we'll be in James 2:17 through 18. And don't forget to do your assignments. I'll make sure this is all posted at the end of the video if you want to look at the video. Okay? Alrighty. I hope you guys have a great night. I'll talk to you all tomorrow.